A very good evening and welcome to Primetime News live on Newsfirst. I'm Mahina Bongzo.
Good evening, I'm Shayan Rampati. This sort of look at tonight's headlines.
Attorney General says it is not appropriate for him to provide an opinion on legality of new Prime Minister. Prime Minister Mahinda assumes duties as Finance Minister. SR Atigala appointed Ministry Secretary. UN representative meets the President, Speaker and Opposition Leader. Government officials removed from temple trees. Unrest as officials inspect items. Dollar continues to climb, exceeds 176.
The Attorney General has notified the Speaker that expressing his opinion on the recent new appointment of the Prime Minister and government is not suitable.
Attorney General points out that when considering the role of the Attorney General as explained in the Constitution, he cannot make such a statement. Attorney General Jayantha Jayasuriya has drafted this letter in reply to a request made by the Speaker on the 27th of this month.
Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa assumed duties as the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs today.
Prime Minister assumed duties as the Ministry of Finance amidst religious blessings. Several ministry officials, including its new secretary, SR Atigala, were also present at the occasion.
There is a huge uproar from the people who postpone elections against the President postponing Parliament for 11 days. They act as if other presidents have never done such a thing. Even I have done it. This is the truth of the matter. This is nothing new. Every president has done this. They are trying to show the world that our country is falling into a dictatorial rule. This ministry is facing a lot of challenges and more challenges will follow in the future. We need an economic framework that would apply to all parties. The tax system should be simple. There is a saying which goes on to say that taxes should be earned like bees extracting pollen from flowers. This is what I believe. There should be a certainty about the economic policy. At present, some price formula comes into effect. This should be changed and a new one should be set in motion. If fuel prices are rising, it should be controlled the way it was controlled back in the day. It should not always be increased and decreased every month. There seems to be no sign of it decreasing. We are a government. We need money. But we should not earn money by pressurizing the people. We have to provide them with reliefs after taking into consideration the cost of living. We should also launch a program to stop internationalization. To me, it is very easy to let go of all these positions. I left the residence on the 9th of January cheerfully, even before the results were released. However, some people cannot do that. They can stay indoors while sobbing, but what they do not know is the people are laughing. I believe we were able to walk around cheerfully while the people looked on in dismay.
පිට මිනිස්සු hina වෙනවා කියලා. දැන් අපිට පුළුවන් වුණා මං හිතන්නේ අපිට hina වෙවි යතවනවා නා යන්න ජනතාව කනස්සල්ලෙන් බලාගෙන ඉදී මොන මොනවද වෙන්නේ.
Meanwhile, SR Atigala, who was appointed as a Secretary to the Ministry of Finance and Economic Affairs and also as a Secretary of the Treasury, assumed duties today. SR Atigala, who was the Deputy Secretary of the Treasury, is a graduate from the University of Colombo. The Prime Minister called on His Eminence Cardinal Malcolm Ranjit and obtained blessings this afternoon.
A number of new ministers officially assumed duties today.
Vasantha Senanayake officially assumed duties as the Minister of Tourism and Wildlife at the Ministry of Tourism located in Kolpiti. I am not part of any deals. I am still a parliamentarian of the United National Party. I have not left the UNP. I don't know if they will take disciplinary actions against me. As per the invitation of the President, any MP can take up the responsibility of a minister, therefore that person cannot be expelled. I was always of the stance that this country should change, that there should be a strong government and that there should be change within the UNP. So my stance hasn't changed. Minister Vasantha Senanayake is a law graduate from Britain's Buckingham University. Elected to Parliament through the United National Party in the year 2010, he held office as the State Minister of Foreign Affairs in the previous government. Deputy Minister of Tourism and Wildlife Anand Alugamage also assumed duties today.
දිගින් දිගට අපෙන් අහන ප්‍රශ්නයක් බහුතරය
The question that is posed to us continuously is as to whether we have a majority. We embarked on this journey with a majority. Even this morning our MPs were calling us and asking when they can be sworn in. We will continue this journey with Mahinda Rajapaksa just as we planned. Honourable Sambandhan spoke with us and the Prime Minister, and we will ensure that he remains as the opposition leader.
එතුමට ලබා දෙන්න අපි කටයුතු කරනවා.
Anand Alutgamage, who functioned as the UNP organizer for the Navalapitiya electorate, entered Parliament in 2015. Minister of Resettlement, Rehabilitation, Northern Development and Hindu Religious Affairs Douglas Devananda assumed duties at his ministry today.
Janadhipati,
the President and the Prime Minister entrusted me with these duties because I can carry them out well. Therefore, I will fulfill my duties for the general public.
ඒ නිසා මේ සන්දර්භමක මම ජනතාවෙන් නිසා රටෙන් නිසා මම මේක ක්‍රියාත්මක කරනවා.
Douglas Devananda, who studied at the Jaffna Madhya Mahavidyalaya and Colombo Hindu College, is the leader of the Elam People's Democratic Party, or the EPDP. He was the Minister of Social Service and Social Welfare in 2005. Vadivel Suresh also officially assumed duties as the State Minister of Plantation today. A special discussion will be held tomorrow regarding the wages of estate employees. The problems of my people must be solved. I worshipped leaders the last time. I took petrol and went to Parliament asking for these wages. They lied. If they give what they promised, why would we cross over? Sometimes they scold Vadivel Suresh that I'm crossing over to both sides. That is all right. Give me 1,000 rupees. Some people are pulling our legs when we try to do this. I will reveal everything in the future.
1,000 rupees for my people. මේ රුපියල් 1000 දෙන එක කකුලෙන් අදිනවා. හිටපු සමහර කට්ටි. මම ඉදිරියට කියන්න අනිත් විස්තර ඔක්කොම.
President Maithripala Sirisena has informed the United Nations of the prevailing political situation in the country during a meeting held with UN Resident Coordinator in Sri Lanka, Hannah Singer, at the Presidential Secretariat today.
According to the President's Media Division, President Sirisena has clarified that all state activities have taken place in accordance with the Constitution. President Sirisena further stated that he is maintaining law and order at all levels while acting within a democratic framework. On a further note, UN Resident Coordinator Hannah Singer said that the United Nations will continue to support Sri Lanka in the future. Meanwhile, Hannah Singer, along with several ambassadors of Western countries, have held discussions with the Speaker of Parliament regarding the current political situation in the country. According to a statement issued by the Speaker's office, the meeting was joined by the EU Ambassador, High Commissioner to the United Kingdom, Canadian High Commissioner and the German Ambassador. The statement read, the foreign delegates were disappointed by the unanticipated changes in the country's political structure and were concerned over the consequences the country would have to face. According to the statement, the Speaker has requested all officials to refrain from taking any measures against Sri Lanka. According to a statement issued by the TNA, UN Resident Coordinator Hannah Singer also met with opposition leader R. Sambandhan and discussed matters relating to the current political situation in the country. Meanwhile, UN Resident Coordinator in Sri Lanka Hannah Singer, along with the ambassadors of the European Union, Canada and Germany, met with the Speaker Karu Jayasuriya this evening. According to a statement issued by the Speaker's office, the meeting included discussions regarding the consequences Sri Lanka might face due to the prevalent political crisis in the country.
Meanwhile, SLFP organizers met with President Sirisena at his official residence this afternoon. During the meeting, the President informed the organizers on the prevailing political situation in the country and factors that influence the establishment of a new government. According to a statement issued by the President's Media Division, all members of the SLFP have extended their support towards the new government. The Speaker has informed the foreign representatives that he will meet the President this evening, hoping to resolve these issues constitutionally and democratically. Now, the meeting between President Maithripala Sirisena and Speaker of Parliament Karu Jayasuriya was held at the President's office today. The Speaker arrived at the President's office around 5:45 in the evening. The discussion was held for over an hour. The Speaker had presented facts to the President about the request that he received to convene Parliament before the 16th. The President had informed the Speaker that he will consider this and announce a decision in the future. Now, the current political crisis in Sri Lanka was discussed in the UK Parliament recently.
Sir Hugo Swire.
Speaker, when my right honourable friend speaks to the President of Sri Lanka later on in the week, will he point out that his recent actions are in direct contravention of the 19th Amendment, that the international community continues to recognise Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe as the legitimate Prime Minister? This can only be changed by vote in Parliament, and that Parliament must be recalled as a matter of urgency in order that such a vote can take place.
Well, I certainly will be making those points when I talk to President Sirisena, and I know that a number of members are concerned about the safety of Prime Minister Wickremesinghe, and we are watching the situation with a great deal of concern.
Now, speaking at the U.S. State Department press briefing, Deputy Spokesperson Robert Palladino says the United States' position is that the determination about the leadership in Sri Lanka needs to be made in accordance with due process and Sri Lankan law. Here's what was discussed at the U.S. State Department press briefing.
What is your understanding of the situation with the Prime Minister and the government there? Do you consider the former Prime Minister to still be the legitimate Prime Minister?
We are following developments in Sri Lanka with concern, and we urge all sides to respect due process. We call on the President, in consultation with the Speaker, to reconvene Parliament immediately and allow the democratically elected representatives of Sri Lanka to fulfill their responsibility to affirm who will lead their government.
I'm sorry, your first answer there. The determination will be made by them. You mean the determination of whether this is a coup or not? What determination?
Leadership in Sri Lanka. We call for it to be made in determination with Sri Lankan law and due process.
On the role of China, at least one member of parliament in Sri Lanka has accused Beijing of contributing to ouster Prime Minister Wickremesinghe. Does the United States believe in the assessment, and what has the US role been in dealing with the two sides there?
I would just say that we would call on all sides to respect the law and due process and refrain from intimidation and leave it at that.
Speaking on the Newsline program this morning, Attorney at Law Maitri Gunaratne was asked of the diplomatic community's call for a constitutionally acceptable action.
Provincial council elections have been delayed. If that had happened sometime under the Rajapaksa regime, there would have been mayhem in the country by the foreign missions.
That's right.
Here, 6 provincial councils stands dissolved, and for maybe some of them for about now almost a year.
Yeah.
Right? There is absolutely no dissent or concern about restoring democracy, franchise of the people.
The Yuthukama Sangwada Kavaya convened a media briefing in Colombo today.
The international community shed tears more than the people of this country following the changes on the 26th Saturday. They cried, wondering if the country's agenda came to an end. The speaker met with the American ambassador and held discussions. The speaker was appointed by the international community. The Prime Minister was also appointed by the international community. Why haven't the citizens of this country protested if there has been any injustice? European Commission, America, Canada, Australia, and especially Britain issued releases expressing their regret. Britain must be worried, thinking something has gone wrong in their plan. The new constitution was drafted based on foreign instructions. A group of officers were appointed for the constitution. MP Sumantiran and Jayampati Wickremaratne typed letters without letting the officers appointed to work. From the time of the appointments, they were on a journey to please the foreign countries. Some signatures were also forged. The God saved this.
According to the Secretary to the Prime Minister S. Amarasekara, there is no government control in temple trees upon the removal of government officials from the respective premises.
At present, there is no state official at the Prime Minister's office or the officers situated inside temple trees. All officials have been transferred. 2 officials were assigned to collect and accept belongings of those transferred. Until today, these officials executed their responsibilities with no interruption. However, this afternoon, these individuals received death threats by an unknown group of individuals. This group also attempted to take them into custody and attacked one person. There is no government control in these premises. There is no one to take responsibility of these properties worth millions. At the moment, a group of unknown people have taken control of the premises. Meanwhile, a statement issued from Ranil Wickremesinghe's end stated that 2 persons from Mahinda Rajapaksa's office arrived at Temple Trees this afternoon. Upon entrance to the premises, the individuals attempted to remove certain office equipment, which led to a tense situation between the 2 people and the public. The announcement further stated that security officers at Temple Trees intervened immediately, ensuring the situation was under control. The security officers verified the identity of the two individuals and sent them away without any harm.
Chief Prelator of the Mihintala Vihara, Venerable Valava Hangunavave Dhammaratana Thero, commented on the current political situation of the country during a media briefing held today.
It will be timely if he would let go of his position and allow another leader to assume duties without holding on to it like a demon. There is no need for you, as you don't serve us any longer. Wearing a suit and showing allegiance to Western powers does not suit this country. If a person who knows the scent of this country is appointed as the leader of the UNP, we can develop this country. So I kindly urge Ranil Wickremesinghe not to cling on to this, hand it over to another leader and step aside. Support the President and the Prime Minister to run the country. There is no need to stage protests and hunger strikes at Temple Trees. His official powers have been removed. There is no point in staying at Temple Trees to please the needs of Western powers. Now that the people have rejected you, you must leave.
3
media briefings were held at Temple Trees today.
Gotabaya Rajapaksa says that when Mahinda Rajapaksa was appointed as Prime Minister, it was as if water fell on drought-stricken land. That American citizen must be living in America. This rain started since the last Poya Day. He has forgotten that. Former Minister Anurupriyadarshana Yapa says that the Prime Minister can be appointed by the President and that there is no need to command the support of a majority in Parliament. Then we can appoint Anuru Kumara of the JVP as the Prime Minister. When the budget proposal comes, how can they pass this? We urge that the President act according to the Constitution at this time. The Maitri regime and the Mahinda regime have joined forces to create terror in the country. If he had an understanding of the Constitution, he would not have appointed Mahinda as the Prime Minister. We ask our MPs to prepare a motion of impeachment to remove the President. The challenge before us is to confirm the supremacy of Parliament and build a democratic country. I think that is the cause we are all dedicated to. We believe that in achieving this, no matter what false propaganda circulates, we must not be deceived by this and understand the current local and international political situation and act wisely. Vijayadasa Rajapaksa was at Temple Trees on Friday night interpreting the Constitution to us. This Vijayadasa, who interpreted this to us, then goes and takes over a ministry and after taking a ministerial appointment, says that this can be dissolved. When the President offers him a ministerial post, he changes the interpretation. How can this be done? We are ashamed that we were in the same parliamentary group as such people.
Chairman of the All Ceylon Farmers Federation, Nama Karunaratne, says the issues faced by the farmers in Sri Lanka have now been hidden by the current political situation of the country.
The problems of the people are swept under the carpet. This will delay the distribution of fertilizer. The societies issue 3 forms. One will be sent to the farmers and it should be filled in English. The How will they fill these forms in English? Even if a single letter is wrong, they will not receive fertilizer. The farmers have to obtain 3 signatures. The forms were sent on the 15th, and yet nothing has been done about this. It is time to inject urea for the second time for the cultivation. The farmers have been inconvenienced from all aspects. The leaders of this country simply do not care about these issues. Their problems are centered around the prime ministerial position of the country.
මෝසම් වැහි දැන් උඩට වහිනවා. වහින දවස් වලට දැන් මේ දවස් දෙක තුනක ඉඳන් ගෙම්බන්ගේ හඬ ටිකක් අඩු වුණා. මොකද අලුත් ගෙම්බ කට්ටියක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. മന്ത്രി ගෙම්බෝ දේශපාලන ගෙම්බෝ දැන් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා. පයින්නවා මාර පැනිලි ටිකක්.
Switching sides will not resolve any of these issues. Do not try to bury the problems of the people.
ඇතුළු අනිකුත් ජනතාවගේ ප්‍රශ්න මේක මත යටපත් කරන්න ලෑස්ති වෙන්න එපා.
Still in local news, Railway Control Room says train travel along the Northern Railway line is hampered as a result of a protest that is being staged at the Pottuhara railway station. An official said the office train plying from Colombo Fort to Kurunegala was delayed as it had to stop to clear the tracks for the Mount Lavinia Kankasanture Express train. The official had said that this was the usual practice. The commuters of the office train had commenced a protest alleging that the train was stopped at the Pothuhara station for a long period of time. The police had been called to the location as the protesters are now blocking the railway track. Welcome back to the news. The rupee further depreciated against the US dollar today. The selling price of the US dollar shot up to 176 rupees and 25 cents today. According to the figures issued by the central bank, the buying rate of the dollar was at 172 rupees and 36 cents. The withdrawal of foreign investments from the Colombo Stock Exchange had also significantly affected the depreciation of the rupee. During the past 2 days alone, 3.1 billion rupees of foreign investment was withdrawn from the CSE. At the beginning of the year, the selling price of the US dollar stood at 152 rupees and 85 cents. The value of the US dollar had increased by 23 rupees so far this year. This is an increase of 15%.
International perspective. The luxury real estate market just got a shake-up. Prices of expensive homes in Singapore rose by the most in the world this past quarter, so much that the tiny island nation ousted Hong Kong from the #1 spot. And Hong Kong is a city where a 4-bedroom home recently went on sale for $446 million US. Luxury home costs in Singapore rose 13% in the third quarter from a year earlier, driven in part by the limited availability of high-end properties.
A comprehensive media statement explaining the incident that took place recently at the Ceylon Petroleum Corporation was issued by parliamentarian Arjuna Ranatunga today. Accordingly, MP Ranatunga stated that he arrived in the country on the 28th of October after participating at a conference in London.
According to the statement, when MP Arjuna Ranatunga arrived in Sri Lanka, the government had already changed. The minister visited the CPC to collect the keys of his official residence. This matter was informed to the secretary of the ministry. However, due to the secretary being out of Colombo, the additional secretary was to hand over the keys instead. While the MP remained downstairs until the additional secretary arrived, a municipal councillor named Kulathissa Diganage arrived at the premises and started speaking in foul language. Subsequently, the security officers transferred him to the Communications and Sales Office. The municipal councillor, along with the former employee named Bandula Saman, once again arrived with a group of people carrying cricket bats and wooden batons. The group broke into the room, and while attempting to resist the attack, I witnessed one security officer falling. According to the MP's statement, the group of thugs had locked him in the room for more than 3 hours, and the special task force had struggled to take him out of the premises unconsciously. The statement reveals that fake news is circulating claiming the MP had ordered the group of thugs to be gunned down. The series of events resulted in the unfortunate death of an individual. The MP conveyed his condolences to the bereaved family members. According to the MP, those who organized the gang of thugs must claim all responsibility for the death of the security officer. MP Arjuna Ranatunga has requested the relevant officials to conduct an unbiased investigation into this matter to reveal those responsible.
And in sports, it's some cricket news. Play was suspended in the practice match between England and a Sri Lanka Board 11 side after a 20-year-old Pathum Nisanka sustained a blow to the head.
Nisanka was standing at short leg when Joss Buttler pulled a delivery from the off-spinner Nishan Piris. The ball appeared to strike Nisanka on the crown of the head as he ducked to avoid it. He was wearing a helmet but almost immediately fell to the ground, clutching his head. Within moments, the England team doctor Moise Mughal ran onto the pitch to assess the situation. Nisanka remained motionless for around 20 minutes before he was taken on a stretcher and a neck brace to a waiting ambulance. It is understood he has not lost consciousness but was complaining of pain in his neck. The initial response to this incident appeared to be amusement as the ball had ballooned off Nisanka's helmet to Angelo Matthews at leg slip. As a result, Buttler was given out. But the mood changed as the players realized the seriousness of the situation. After a delay of around 20 minutes, the teams left the pitch to take tea, but play resumed after the interval. A communique issued by Sri Lanka Cricket stated that his condition was not serious. For England, skipper Joe Root scored a century. R.J. Burns scored 47 runs. Moeen Ali was caught on 60 runs. Nishan Piris took 3 wickets for 108 runs. At stumps, England were 365 for the loss of 7 wickets.
St. Mary's College K-Gall were bowled out by St. Thomas's College Mount Lavinia for just 6 runs in the Under-19 Inter-Schools Cricket Tournament. This is the lowest score that a team was bowled out for in the country's school's cricket history.
A match of the first round in Group C in the Under-19 Inter-School Cricket Tournament was held at St Thomas's College grounds today. The hosts batting first declared their first innings at 311 for the loss of 8 wickets. In reply, St Mary's College K-Gall were bowled out for 72 runs. St Mary's College K-Gall batting after St Thomas's College enforced a follow-on were bowled out for 6 runs in 10 overs and 5 deliveries. Kalna Pereira was at the top of his game, bagging 16 wickets for just 18 runs in the match.
And that is a wrap of Primetime News. Thank you very much for watching. I'm Shahin Durrangpati.
And I'm Mahina Bongso. Good night.